In the endless green ocean of the Amazon, survival means adapting to the impossible. Deep within this untamed world, where every shadow holds a secret, ancient legends are whispered by the fireside. They tell of creatures born from myth, unseen by outsiders. They called it the Thunder Beast, a creature larger than any ox known to man, a ghost that haunted the deepest parts of the forest. For generations, it was only a story, a warning to those who dared to venture too far. But then, after the great flood receded, the legend began to walk the earth. The signs appeared near the muddy riverbanks, prints so large they could swallow a man's foothole. Fear, cold and sharp, rippled through the village. This was no longer a myth, it was a threat. The hunters prepared, not for glory, but for survival. Spears were sharpened, torches were woven from jungle vines, and quiet prayers were offered to the spirits of the forest. With the first light of dawn, they set out. Their canoes glided like ghosts through the flooded passages, the dark water reflecting a world shrouded in mist. They followed the river deep into the forbidden heart of the forest, a place where the trees themselves seemed to watch their every move. In the Amazon, everything watches and nothing forgets. Monkeys chattered warnings from the canopy, jaguars melted into the shadows, and snakes lay coiled, silent observers to the unfolding drama. Man was an intruder here, and the jungle held its breath. Then came the sound. It started as a low rumble that vibrated through the water and up into their bones. The earth itself seemed to breathe, a deep, resonant tremor that sent birds scattering into the sky. Trees trembled, shedding leaves like tears. Panic flared in the eyes of the hunters as the jungle shook and animals fled in terror around them. And there it was. Emerging from the tangled curtain of rain and leaves, a colossal form took shape. Nature's forgotten giant, reborn from myth. It was scarred, immense, its shaggy coat matted with mud, its breath pluming in the damp air. In that moment, time stood still. Man and beast met across the misty clearing, two survivors bound by a primal language of fear and respect. The hunters froze, their weapons feeling like toys in their hands. The beast lowered its massive, horned head, snorting steam, its dark eyes, ancient and intelligent. Then, with a roar that tore through the silence, the forest exploded in fury. The ox charged, a living avalanche of muscle and horn. Nature's strength, raw and untamed, was unleashed. Chaos erupted. Hunters leaped aside, their shouts lost in the thunder of hooves, as arrows glanced harmlessly off its thick hide. The chase led them to the treacherous riverbank. In the thick of mud and rain, survival turned into desperation. The beast, blinded by rage, plunged into the soft earth, its powerful legs sinking deep into the mire. Trapped, it thrashed and bellowed, turning the riverbank into a churning vortex of mud and water. The hunters, seeing their chance, closed in. But even cornered, the beast was a formidable force. It was a desperate, primal battle fought under a sky weeping with rain. Then, a young hunter saw an opening. With a burst of adrenaline, he scrambled up the slippery trunk of a giant kapok tree. His spear clutched in his hand. He took a deep breath, poised high above the chaos. Courage found a way. A single, perfectly aimed strike ended a legend. The spear flew true, a silver dart in the gray downpour, finding its mark. The great beast shuddered, a final, guttural sigh escaping its lungs. And then, silence. The rain stopped as if on cue. The jungle fell quiet, as if mourning its own. Sunlight, pure and golden, broke through the clouds, illuminating the scene. The hunters, exhausted and mud-spattered, knelt in the silence. They did not celebrate. Instead, they paid their respects to the magnificent life they had taken. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a record that defied belief. Its horns were wider than a man's outstretched arms, its body a testament to the wild, untamable power of the Amazon. The journey home was solemn. They carried not a trophy, but a tale that would feed Genosa's story of courage and of the immense spirit they had faced. When they arrived, the village rejoiced. But this was not a celebration of victory. It was a celebration of life, of sustenance, a recognition that the hunt was a sacred cycle. This was survival, the way of the Amazon. That night, around the dancing flames of the fire, the elder blessed the bones of the fallen beast. They honored the creature, for it gave life. Aben, in death. The story of the great hunt became a lesson passed down to the wide-eyed children who sat by the firelight. It taught them that respect, not dominance, is what keeps the jungle alive. In time, nature heals. Always. The forest returned to its peaceful rhythm, new life emerging where the great struggle had taken place. One life gives way to many. That is the eternal promise of the wild. And so, the legend of the great thunder beast lives on, not as a warning of a monster in the dark, but as a profound reminder that in this vast, green world, man survives only by the mercy and grace of nature. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you were moved by this story of the Amazon, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to explore more wonders of our world with us. See you next time.